I'm not old enough for that yet. Except I am. I spent a very frustrating period of time this morning resetting up my Social Security account. And I'll tell you why I did that later. But I went out to do my 2 hour time on feet, and I spent the whole 2 hours thinking about Social Security. And I didn't know anything about it. Did you? If you're 65, actually, I think you can take it earlier, but I don't know anything about it. So let's back it up for like 8 months. David comes up and he says, I think we should consider retiring. I was like, retire? Like, well, I'm not ready to retire. I'm working, I'm training for a 50K. Retirement's for old people. And I thought, but we are we're the right age for it. So we thought about it. We talked about it. Oh, let's retire in Belize. We lived there in 2016. It's a beautiful place. And we took the family there in November because we wanted them to see it. Because if we live there, we want them to come visit and we want them to fall in love with it too, right? Well, then we had gone to Branson one day and we were probably 20 minutes away from the house. And David said, I've been thinking about this. And I think that we should sell the house and we should buy an RV. And that way you can hike wherever you want to. And I was like, oh, so it took me like a whole 20 minutes. By the time we got home, I thought that was like the best idea I'd ever heard, right? So we go along thinking, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then, careening towards our 65th birthdays. On my 65th birthday on Twitter, X, I had hundreds of people wish me happy birthday. It was amazing. And, but there were also hundreds of people who said, oh, and now you get to sign up for Social Security. And I was like, what? Yeah, you have to sign up for Social Security. I knew nothing about it. So I did a quick chat GPT, tell me about Social Security. Well, you have to sign up in the 3 months after after your birthday, or you get penalized. Like there's penalties involved in this whole thing. Penalty. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to do anything wrong. So I signed up for it. And then like a couple of weeks after, here comes this brochure with a little card, and now you're on Social Security. And I guess that part of it pays catastrophic coverage if you have an accident or whatever. So I just stuck it away. It's in my wallet, no big deal. David's birthday is a month after mine, and he just struggled to get that thing set up for whatever reason. And so I helped him, we signed him up, and I'm like, because we don't want any penalties. And I'll tell you what, as soon as you sign up for Social Security, dude, you will not imagine the amount of mail you get about this stuff. And it's all like, it looks official and important and penalty-like, So I was thinking, the more I hike and the more I train, the more I want to train and the more I want to hike. So I told David, I said, if we're going to consider, when we're going to retire, we really kind of need to know what that means money-wise, because I have an amazing healthcare plan at work that I pay such a decent price for, $89 a month for both of us. And I don't know how much it costs for Medicare. So if I quit working, then we have to get insurance somewhere else, which would be the Medicare Part B and all the other things they have. I mean, so much stuff. And so I told him, I'm like, let's go and talk to somebody and have them tell us, what does that mean even? Like, we don't even know. So I remembered we did a ribbon cutting with the chamber at this insurance place. And I know that they tell people about Medicare because I've seen people rave about them on Facebook. So I call and I make an appointment, and we go in there and we talk to this girl. And the first thing she tells us is that the cheapest amount of Medicare Part B, $202 for each one of us. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to retire. Holy moly, my insurance cost is going to go up more than 3 times more. And so she explained all the Part G and the Part D, E, F. I don't even know. I just know that when we get to that point, we're going to go back there because they will help us. And, it's so funny. This is neither here nor there, I suppose. But when I was a kid, I always thought that you became an adult when you understood insurance. You know what? I do not understand insurance. Anyway, so I was thinking that it would be really nice to retire earlier than 2 years, which is what we had planned. And so we decided to check that out. Well, they don't tell you, like, how are you supposed to know this stuff, right? My mom, I'm sure, was on Social Security because she was 70 when she passed away. And I'm not sure my dad was because my dad was only 60. He died pretty young. But um, like, how are you supposed to find this stuff out? I mean, like, it's kind of nebulous out there. You hear about Social Security and old people have Social Security, and I'm not an old person, so it doesn't affect me. You don't know anything about it. But I started thinking, okay, I had two things I wanted to accomplish before I'd be really happy with my career, and then I could retire and hike. And one of the things I achieved last year, and the other thing I will be finished is serving as the board president for the HR association here. I'll be finished with that term in July. And I thought, well, what if I wanted to retire in July? How would that work? So we go to the Social Security website. But when you set that thing up, they're going to give you all kinds of stuff, like to make sure that it's you when you log into it. And I had tried to look at it before because I wanted to know exactly what numbers were we thinking about. And I messed up, and it's asking me for keys and codes and magic to get into the account, and I didn't have it. So it's like, well, now you have to delete your account, and then you have to reset it up. So I started the process of deleting my account. You can't just delete it and start over. You have to delete it, wait 24 hours. They send you another email. Then you can delete it. If you're really sure you want to delete it, you can delete it. Then you have to set it back up, which is where I found myself this morning, trying to set it back up so that I could see if I was going to get enough money to pay for insurance when I retire. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to have to pay for that insurance. It's expensive. So I set that back up, but then it asks you all these questions. Well, in the meantime, David has already done this, so he helped me through this one. But it's the craziest thing. It kept coming to my head, how are you supposed to know this stuff, right? So here's the thing about Medicare. If you don't get Medicare, so you don't have to get Medicare Part B if you have employer health insurance. And if you stop having employer health insurance, if you don't sign up for Medicare Part B straight away, you get a penalty. And you keep getting a penalty every single year until you finally get it. And it never stops. It just keeps compounding and compounding. So we're just trying to figure out how to do this without getting a penalty. We don't want to get a penalty. And I was really grateful for the people at the insurance company to tell us this because we didn't know. If you have not done this and you're, coming up on this part of your life, check with an independent insurance agent. Look around on Facebook, see if somebody's having a little get together like they're having here. And because just knowing all that stuff and having them explain it to you, it just gives you peace of mind. Oh, they will also tell you that all that stuff that comes in the mailbox, it's not important. You can throw it away. So I was happy to learn about that because I don't want penalties. I'm not old enough to understand insurance. That is a fact. But this isn't about pretending to understand. It's about grabbing a hold of that and finding somebody who can explain it to you because of penalties. It doesn't really make sense to me, but after having spoken to someone, I feel better about it. I feel like we have a course of action. I feel like we know what we're going to do. I feel like maybe if I want to retire a little bit earlier than I thought, I will probably be able to figure out a way to do it. And that makes me happy because there's a whole lot to be said for having peace, just that not knowing is so hard. It's like the worst thing ever to just sit there and you think of all these ideas. I'm out there for 2 hours. I'm thinking all kinds of stuff about how bad things could be or how hard it would be. But if you get a hold of somebody who is who does that for a living, they can put it in your terms that you can understand. And so you go forward and you feel like, okay, I've got this, I can do this retirement thing. And then you can just go ahead and hike. You know, you don't have to worry about grabbing penalties here, there, and everywhere. So you really want to be responsible to know how this part of your life works. And it's not going to go away. you know, now you're still here, so you may as well figure it out. And if I'm bold enough to dream about hiking all the time and living in an RV, I'm bold enough to figure this out too, right? So I'm not old enough for this, but yeah, I am old enough for this. And it makes me laugh still, I'm not gonna lie. The little pamphlet they send you has the old lady with the curly hair, gray hair, short, I look at that and I don't relate. I don't relate to that, but there are people who can help you, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because if nobody has told you, well, let me be that person, because I'm your friend, and friends do that for friends. I don't want you stumbling around in the dark and getting penalized when all you really need to do is find that person in your community who can explain it to you. And if this is the first time you're hearing about this stuff, dude, it probably opened your eyes like it opened mine. Just, how did we get here? What in the heck is this? And how do we do it? It's just a whole different, like, whoa. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I would love it if you would subscribe and follow me along, and I'll help you out of these little weird situations. Because we are not old enough, are we? But yes, we are. Thanks for spending time with me today. If this encouraged you, give it a thumbs up and share it with another aging rebel who needs a little hope. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, live strong, laugh often, and shine with purpose.